Good afternoon, fellow Ambazonians. Welcome to all Ambazonians at home and abroad. You're all highly welcome to this wonderful presentation. Again, by me, your host, Capo Daniel. If this is your first time in this platform, I invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel and also subscribe to the YouTube channel of the ACN Television Network. You're all highly welcome at home and abroad. Today, I want to thank those who have welcomed me through their TV screen and those who are watching me on their mobile device. It's an honor to be able to speak to you on behalf of the Ambazonian people and also on behalf of the Ambazonian Governing Council, which I am the spokesperson. I am also the Deputy Defense Chief as well as the anti-kidnapping czar. And una know me very well, say na me, una own countryman, sense pass king, look on una Ambazonian FBI, where they make sure say they bring una the truth, and they make sure say everything will be talk am na very vital and important information, and will make sure say everything will be give am for una, it be based on facts and it be substantiated. So now our job that will do am for una all una be highly welcome. So today for this presentation, it be titled A Change in Tune in Yaounde. We are noticing a change in the tune of Cameroon activists or those who speak on behalf of poor Biya. And this time it is an interview that was conducted by no other person but Elvis Ngolle Ngolle. For those who don't know Elvis Ngolle Ngolle, Elvis Ngolle Ngolle is the private lawyer of poor Biya. He's one of those Ambazonians who helped poor Biya during the 2000, I don't know, is it 2004 election or 19 in the 1990s. He represented President Paul Biya and the CPDM regime in the Supreme Court in a lawsuit that they overturned the election that was won by Nijon Fundi. So Elvis Ngolle Ngolle, he was made the minister of special duties in charge of in the presidency of Cameroon in charge of special duties. One wonder what type of special duties will require a minister. He was also rewarded with the ministerial post of being the Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife. Cameroon is one of the countries with the highest numbers of ministry. Why would you have a Ministry of Forestry and then a Ministry of Wildlife? It's like having a Ministry of Kitchen and then the pants. What about domestic animals? These people are crazy. As we all say, it is a comedy country. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have take a look at this interview and give you some analysis on what Elvis Ngolle Ngolle have put out there. Elvis Ngolle Ngolle, he's a very important person, and he's one of those people who, when he speaks, we know that he speaks for the regime. He's very close to Paul Biya. He have access to Paul Biya, and he's one of those his trusted students. So we are going to take a look on what they have put out there, the change in tune, and I'll give you the noticeably change in tune and what it means for our liberation struggle. So please let's go right away. I'll take you to the video, and we'll be doing the presentation as the video will be rolling through. I'll be talking over it, so please pardon me. And for all my country people, them, I will not go to see the video. I go to talk. I go also to bring them for pidgin English, so that make all man here and make all we will deal with the same. Mob. The one na Elvis Ngolle Ngolle na strong man way they talk for Paul Biya. If he don't work for Paul Biya in ministry, presidency, like person way they do special duties. Them man don't know what now kind of special duties the way you need them for do and for the way you not get title. Either also be a former minister for forestry and wildlife also. So na man way when he talk, will not say he talk nothing way the Paul Biya they don't shoot down for their own gumba house then shoot down then discuss them. They arrange me come go put them for outside. So that's say they don't begin change talk. From come out for being calling people them terrorists, dismissing our struggle, and now they change their tune and maybe we watch the video, we would analyze them as it go.
To describe ourselves as standing at crossroads today.
Yes, Mr. Kum Leonard, I think you are perfectly right to have conceived the theme in this way, because in the last 6 years, the Anglophones who are those from the northwest and southwest regions have found themselves in a crisis which 6 years later has placed us at what you call the crossroads. But this is what I know about the last 6 years. As I said, you are perfectly right to say we are at a crossroads. We're at a crossroads because, or what do we mean by the fact that we're at a crossroads? I mean, it's an English word. When you, any human being or any animal find themselves at a crossroads, that means you are at an impasse. You are in a state where you can't go ahead, you can't go forward, you don't know what to do, and you are almost confused, or you have become desperate, you are at a loss for options. I think that the fact that you've used the phrase Anglophones at a crossroads challenges us because, first of all, we are all Anglophones.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I will be doing my shows to be interactive. So, if you are watching me live on YouTube, I can see your comment and I will be taking your comments into consideration. I want to acknowledge Milton Fu, and I greet you. And also, we have one key Clef, who is also watching live on YouTube, and many others who join the show. So, as you have heard, Elvis Ngolle Ngolle, he says that the title of the show today is a courtesy of the video is courtesy of Media Prime, and this is a Prime Hour, a show that also is always engaging in Ambazonian issue. And I want to start. Lawson Marshall is also watching live on YouTube. So Ngolle Ngolle have made certain statement, and the topic is Ambazonians on the crossroad, and he has explained, which is something that we have seen the regime push, that for over 6 years now, the Ambazonians have been fighting so hard, and they say that we are in an impasse. And according to what he says that we are in an impasse. That means we are, according to him, we cannot go forward or backward. We are almost confused. We are desperate. We are lost in options. And that is what he said. So what our people, we have to know from what they are trying to push to our people, to say that suddenly Ambazonia is in an impasse. We are now confused. We don't know what to go, which way to go, what way forward. And all this description, it comes from the continual attempt of the regime to define what we are doing in order for them to determine how we go forward or how we should succeed or not. And their ability to define what we do will affect the result or the perception internationally. So I want our people to know very well. I will just rewind it a little bit backward and I will play it. Then I will address it item by item for our people to know what is going on.
It's an English word. When you, any human being or any animal, find themselves at a crossroads, that means you are at an impasse. You are in a state where you can't go ahead, you can't go forward, you don't know what to do, and you are almost...
So I agree to John Leke and Tiko Limbe, BB Africa, who are also watching live. So when they say that Ambazonians are in an impasse, we are confused, we don't know what to do, we don't know where to go. This is the whole deception of the regime and the state of Cameroon. Ambazonians should know very well that the concept of defining us is always wrong. It will always be wrong by them because they do so deliberately. We don't know what to do. Ambazonians are now struggling for 6 years and we are in an impasse. No. You have to know that this is a resistance. For us, and which is the reality according to international law, Ambazonia have been annexed and be recolonized by Cameroon. We are fighting a resistance war. We are resisting Cameroon rule. We are resisting the influence of Cameroon over our territory. We are rejecting Cameroon. We are fighting to delegitimize Cameroon. We are fighting to make our territory ungovernable against Cameroon. We want Cameroon for the past 6 years, since we have been fighting this war of resistance, have been unable to open their government schools. They have been unable to open schools or schools to go in with uniforms and follow their instructions. Cameroon have been unable for our population to receive their colonial DO and SDO. So for the past 6 years, that is what we have accomplished. We know exactly what we are doing. We are resisting Cameroon rule. We have delegitimized Cameroon. Cameroon have been unable to demonstrate any manipulation or demonstrate any fake elections within our territories for these past 6 years. We are resisting Cameroon. They want to fool us that we are in a conventional war where two equal armies face each other so that one will defeat and one will get lost. For our people to believe that we cannot win this war by giving them a false interpretation or a false reading of what we are doing. We know very well what we are doing. We are fighting a resistance war. Two countries, one have occupied the other, one have recolonized the other. So this is a resistance war. It's not a contemporary war between two armies. It's a war of resistance, and our people have been resisting La République du Cameroon. We have rejected Cameroon. We resist them. On every Monday, our population stay at home to show the world that we have rejected the regime. This war of resistance continue as we see La République du Cameroon. They struggle to come with their colonial officers. We have successfully kicked out all the Francophones, DOs and SDOs. They have now tried to use Ambazonians to put them as DOs and SDOs, but our people have still constantly resist them, and La République is not accepted in Ambazonia. For 6 years fighting, they have been unable to be accepted by our people. So let's go down.
Confused, or you have become desperate, you are at a loss for options. I think that the fact that you've used the phrase Anglophones at a crossroads challenges us because, first of all, we are all Anglophones. And we are proud to be Anglophones. And we know that Cameroon is a country of peoples who are from the Anglo-Saxon tradition and those from the French tradition. And both of us, as the founding fathers had bequeathed to us, we make a nation which is almost, should be the example, the good example for the whole world, because we are living together for more than 60 years, and it's only in the last 6 years that those of us who come from the northwest and southwest have found ourselves in a crisis which has brought us 6 years later to a crossroads. But what is this crossroads all about?
So Ngolle Ngolle, in talk say, he's saying that we are all proud Anglophones. We are all proud Anglophones, and that goes to show you what we have been fighting all along. He calls it we are all proud Anglophones. So he is identifying himself with Ambazonia. If you are a proud Anglophone, we are not Anglophones, so to say, because Anglophones, as we know, is a word that is coined to describe Germans who migrated into England. We are people who speak, majority of our people who speak, they are speaking Pidgin, not English. Yes, we do inherit the British tradition, and that can describe our territory, but we as a people cannot be described using a language. We are Ambazonia. So if you are a proud so-called Anglophones, that means you are proud of where you come from. Then you should be able to identify yourself with the indigenous name, because identity is very, very important. You should be able to identify yourself with the appellation that the people of that land are calling themselves. More than 90% of them have come out with their flag, with their anthem, and identify themselves as Ambazonian. So you can't say you are proud to be an Anglophone and you don't identify with the indigenous name of Ambazonia, which is the name that the people of the former British Southern Cameroon have chosen for themselves. If you are proud of yourself, you'll be proud of your culture. You'll be proud of your identity. And your name is very important. Why will you call your own people, which have been identified as a language? No, we are the Ambazonian people, not Anglophones. So he also says that Cameroon have two peoples, which is a very deep admission of the division in that country that we have been fighting for the past 6 years, and which we have been a battle for our country since Cameroon annexed our territory. He acknowledged that there are two people, the English Anglo-Saxons and the Francophones, which is what is a reality. And every people have basic rights that have been acknowledged and expressed and protected under international law. The people's right to self-determination, which is legitimate, which is what we are fighting for. You cannot be in a government that criminalizes the right of one people, and you are still comfortable to be with that government and carrying on his chest, as you can see, the badge of the Amok Society of Biya and the CPDM regime, and you say that you are proud of where you come from. No. And today they are recognizing these differences simply because we have fought very hard. And this change in tune should make them to move towards the right thing, which is to accept our right as Ambazonians. They have refused even a debate on this subject in their parliament, which is an indication of what a denier of our people's right. And he also says that our founding father has bequeathed to us a nation. What founding fathers is he talking about? If you look about the word founding fathers, it will remind you about the Americans. When the Americans, they talk about the founding fathers, there are documents that they always quote their constitution where you see the signatures of the founding fathers of America. You have Abraham Lincoln, you have Washington, and the rest. Their founding documents. It's publicized, it's well known, it's used in the court and everywhere. In Cameroon, which are the founding documents we have? We don't have any. The only document they call in their constitution is a fraudulent document that was enacted by Biya. Even in the Fumban conference, Cardinal Tumi and many other people who were alive during that period, and most historians have come out to say that there was no document that was founded in the Fumban conference, including a former Supreme Court Justice Ayapo Abine, have also testified that there is no Union Treaty or there is no Fumban Treaty that was signed. The meeting was adjourned. Cameroon imposed upon Ambazonia their constitution. This country is founded by Franks and Charles de Gaulle, who fought against the Cameroon state and won that war. And you have Amadou Ahidjo and Biya are those who they used to kill their own people and enslave them. So the founding father of this so-called Cameroon, which is a zoo, is Biya and Amadou Ahidjo and the French. We have no founding fathers. Ambazonians have no representative and is not recognized as a people and as a state, as was required by the international instrument that provided for both territories to unite, which is the General Assembly Resolution 1608, that prescribed that the two countries should sit together and have a treaty that will be binding on both and to remain as two equal partners. So there is no founding fathers that includes Ambazonians or the so-called Anglophones, if you want to use his own terminology. So he has clearly said that there are distinct tradition, and this distinct tradition, we are not living together. We are in conflict. We are in conflict with each other. That's why they call it the Anglophone crisis. It is a war between the Francophone state of Cameroon and the Ambazonians on the other side. And he says that we should be an example for the world if these two people should live together. Unfortunately, we are not the example of Canada that recognizes a people that are not actually two of equal state. In Quebec, they give them more rights than most Anglophones in Canada. And we are not an example. If you look at Senegambia, two equal partners who came together when one of them, Gambia, wanted to separate from Senegal, they had a peaceful separation. You also have the case of Tanzania, which is Tanganyika and Zanzibar. Both states came together and they are living peacefully, respecting each other. They have had rotation of power from one state to the other. The former president who was of the other side died, and now you have the lady who is ruling that country. They are living in peace, and they are good examples of people who are living together. While in Ambazonia and La République du Cameroon, we are fighting each other because one state is attempting to wipe out the history of the other, have criminalized the identity and the history of the other, and is going around burning the villages in the other one, and their president have admitted that they have attempted to assimilate us, which is a crime in itself. They are trying to commit genocide. They are exploiting our resources to enrich themselves. And you have just one Cameroon, two borders you have the borders in the Mongo. The one across the Mongo is for development, and the one in our side is for exploitation. That is what it is. We are not living together. We are a bad example of two people who can ever come together in this so-called experiment, and our people should know, and they should know that better. So let's continue with the audio.
In a crisis which has brought us 6 years later to a crossroads. But what is this crossroads all about? The crossroads is this, that we've reached a stage where we as Anglophones, we are caught in a situation of crisis, and it is we who have to honestly and faithfully acknowledge what we have been doing for the last 6 years. Has it been good for us? or not? My answer is that what we've been doing in the last 6 years has not been good for us.
So now this is Ngolle Ngolle. After trying to desperately redefine what we are doing, is now talking about that for these past 6 years, because of the humanitarian crisis, and we are in an impasse in his own imagination, now it's supposed to be us, the victim, we should sit and say to ourselves and question ourselves what we have been doing, is it working or not? No. When somebody is perpetrating genocide on you, waging a war on you that burns your villages, you don't come out to be the ones to say that you are tired or not. No, you don't. Cameroon is the occupying power. Cameroon is the one that declared war. Cameroon have failed to win the war. And Cameroon is the one to sit down and make up their mind and realize that they cannot win this war. We are simply defending ourselves in our own land. What Ngolle Ngolle is preaching is the logic of the occupier, the logic of slavery. For Ambazonian to sit and after receiving the punches of genocide, killing of our people, burning our village, to realize whether our resistance against an injustice is correct or not. Are we doing something wrong? For us, the victim, to blame ourselves. It's like accusing a lady who is beautiful or wearing short dresses that he has provoked men to rape him. Rape her. No. We are the victim. The person who have to sit and take stock is Cameroon and their president, Paul Biya. Is what they are doing in Ambazonia correct? Will they continue to massacre a people, burning down villages? Will they hope somehow that by using terrorism tactics, they are going to convince us to have stop resisting and accept an improper relationship with them, where they dominate and exploit our resources and we have no dignity? Just go around, look at how they do with Kale Kale, arresting young men, old men, removing them in front of their family, roping their body in mud, searching houses, searching mobile phones of people, shooting people like the ones in Womb who are coming back from villages, burning Bai Pania during Christmas Day, burning Oko during Christmas Day, burning Bui during Christmas Day. What person would accept and say that, okay, they have killed me enough, let me surrender and become even more slaves? For the past 60 years, we have suffered. This cannot compare with what we were when we were in Nigeria for 42 years. What we have seen in Cameroon is something that we will never wish for our worst enemy. A country that just come, catch people, put them in mud, in what they call Kale Kale, and then take you to the police station and ask you to pay what they call hotel bills, kidnapping for ransom. They have turned our country upside down. A very peaceful, loving people who have known nothing but the rule of law and the respect of their elders, the wonderful Ambazonian people. Today, we have been forced to defend ourselves and pick up guns to fight the Bulu Beti and their mercenaries who are now killing our people and are now inviting Boko Haram fighters from Kano to join them in their slaughter of the Ambas Bay people. No, we cannot accept, we cannot think about even conceding to a brutal regime or to allow ourselves to be third-class citizens. No, never. We deserve better. But let's continue the interview.
Or not? My answer is that what we've been doing in the last 6 years has not been good for us. Not that we have not had any reason, or we don't have any reason to have complained or to have expressed grievances against things that made us unhappy or that we didn't like or things that caused us grief and pain. I think that it's been known for 60 years that there is such a thing as an Anglophone problem. But
so what Elvis Ngolle Ngolle is admitting is that for the past 60 years, there is what they call the Anglophone problem. So he is recognizing the injustice our people have been facing, not just for the past 6 years, but for the past 61 years since Cameroon ruled down its army into our streets and take over our country by force and impose a federal system upon us, which is not what we signed up for. And even their own constitution, they did not respect it, but they dismiss us and criminalize our identity. For the past 60 years, he is now recognizing somebody who have been on the media refusing that Ambazonian actually have any legitimate reason to fight. Today, he is saying that he is not denying that there is a legitimacy to our cause, that our people indeed have a reason to complain, that we have been marginalized, we have been discriminated, and we suffer historic injustices. That is what he is saying, and I will take it back a little bit and then we continue.
Or that we didn't like, or things that caused us grief and pain. I think that it's been known for 60 years that there is such a thing as an Anglophone problem, but the Anglophone problem didn't have to get us to a crisis. And because we are Anglophones, the crisis didn't have to get us to a point of a crossroads. But here we are, as your theme suggests.
So we didn't have to get to war, and this is not of our own choice. The conflict is determined by the occupier, by the stronger state party that has his feet on our neck, like the case of Michael Floyd. We didn't choose this war. Cameroon make a choice, a deliberate choice. Paul Biya chose this war when he started brutalizing our students and our lawyers and sending helicopter gunship to go around shooting Ambazonians. They brought this war upon us. For us, it is an act of self-defense. We couldn't stay by and watch people murning down our people using guns, and we stay and we work with peace plans and sing in the palace that they will kill us and get tired and wait for them to kill us to get tired. No. It is a human instinct and a human right to defend yourself when being attacked by a brutal regime. What else will you defend yourself with if people are attacking you with guns, burning down your villages, raping down your women? We can only defend ourselves with guns equally, which is what we are doing.
What then do we do with the crossroads? The crossroads is that we can't afford to be confused. We have to be honest with ourselves and with the world. And we have to ask ourselves, do we want to continue doing what we have been doing for the last 6 years and expect a different result? I think logic and science does not expect that you can get the same result, a different result, if you're doing the same thing that you've been doing for the last 6 years. And we know the last 6 years have been calamitous for the Anglophones.
So what he is saying is to preach the logic of the occupier or the bully that bullies you. The more you resist, the more he will hit you. And he's trying to convince our people that for the past 6 years, should we continue to resist and get more blows and fight from La République du Cameroon? Yes, we will continue to resist. And he said we cannot be confused. We can't afford to be confused. Of course, we are not confused. Our people want independence, and you hear on the street every day. There are scientific polls that have proven that that is what our people want. And he says we have to be honest with the world. Cameroon have to be honest with the world that this is about sovereignty. This is about the root causes of this problem, and the world have keep on reminding Cameroon that there is only one way you have to resolve the root causes of this problem. For the past 6 years, he says, what has happened? In the past 6 years, Cameroon have been sanctioned by the international community. Support to fight a legitimate conflict like that of Boko Haram have been stopped because the West and the international community do not want to see weapons being supplied to Cameroon used against Ambazonians, which means they don't want Cameroon to be killing or fighting against Ambazonians. For the past 6 years, Cameroon have lost its trade privileges with the United States, which was one of its most lucrative export market in the world. Cameroon have lost, they are being removed from that treaty by the United States of America. Cameroon Ambazonians have also been recognized for protection in America under the TPS deal that was signed by Joe Biden. Cameroon ministers and top officials have been banned from traveling to America. That was announced by Anthony Blinken. Cameroon, the world have declared a humanitarian crisis in Ambazonia. Ambazonia have been known worldwide now. We have internationalized our struggle. The Basque Country have recognized Ambazonian right of self-determination. The International Court of the African Court of Human and People's Rights have recognized our right of self-determination and recognized us as a people. Our identity have been embraced by our people and our children today. You go across Ambazonia, our students, our people are carrying our flag, singing our national anthem. For the past 6 years, we have embraced our identity, we have relearned our history, and we are now set to fight for recognition as a state. We are now equipped with an army that can defend our people and defend our villages. Our people have defended their right, and we are now forcing to assert our sovereignty over our territory. So for the past 6 years, those are the results that Ambazonians have had. We have to move forward because there is no turning back and there is no option of becoming a third-class citizen in a country which has been described as a shithole by Donald Trump. But let's continue the program.
When I say calamitous, what do I mean? the Anglophone society, the Northern and Southwest, because of the crisis and the attendant violence and destruction and all the heathen and things that have taken place, the human rights abuses, the Northern and Southwest peoples, whom we call the Anglophones, have actually gone backwards, have been taken backwards. Thousands of lives have been lost. Lots of destruction has taken place. The economy has had a big hit. Innocent children have lost many years of school life because they were prevented from going to school. Lots of people have been kidnapped. And the image that the world has of Anglophones from the Northern and Southwest now is that we are a people who kill, kidnap, destroy, violate human rights simply because we be
simply because we. He is stuck there because he cannot tell the truth. Simply because we are trying to defend our dignity and our right even to live. So he goes and explains that for the past 4 years, people have died. Yes, it is our people that have been killed. They have not just died. It was not a natural disaster that killed our people or a sickness because they are fighting for they are resisting and they are being slaughtered by Biya. It is a country that have taken us hostage using terrorism tactics, threatening to burn more villages every day, trying to kill as much people every day, and with the hope that the threat of terrorism and genocide will make us to stop resisting. We can't stop resistance. Of course, our economy have taken a hit. What benefit did we have for the economy? We have to make the occupation more expensive for Cameroon than to us. What else did we even have? When you take away all of our resources, now you want to take away our right and our identity. What else do we have to live for? So that's why we have said that this is the time to sacrifice. Freedom does not come free. The Americans fought for it. The French fought for it. We are wise enough to know that nothing will come to us without us standing up to fight for our justice. We must fight to justice to secure a better future where we will have the dignity and the privilege to work for ourselves and build our own economy like we have done so very beautifully when we were self-governing territories under the British mandate in the United Nations Trusteeship Agreement. And we can do so and do so even better. The destruction of our economy by Cameroon burning down villages deliberately, destroying barns in farms, targeting houses where people have kept their food, is to punish our people and take us back into the olden age. The French people did so in Algeria. It did not stop the Algerians from fighting and obtaining their independence. Independence means independence. Freedom means freedom. Human beings were born to be free. There is no way you can convince somebody to live under slavery. There is no way you can convince any Ambazonians to live under Cameroon rule. Our people have rejected Cameroon in every way and they will continue to do so. And will continue to push for that agenda and build our capacity to fight and boot Cameroon away from our territory. And we will see that every day it's only going to get better. Let's listen to the part.
Over what we consider to be an injustice or what we consider to be something that we don't like. Sure, it is a right for someone to express the fact that they are not happy about something or that they don't like about something. But does that give you the right to kill, to destroy, to violate human rights, to break the laws? I don't think so. I think.
So what a question we could have asked him was, what gives the rights to Cameroon and to Biya to kill Ambazonians and burn down our villages? Because we are resisting, because we are asking for our right, our freedom and justice for our territory. What gives Biya the rights to kill our people? I don't think he has any right, or his constitution or the international community have given him any rights to do that. They go around burning, carrying on extrajudicial killing boys and displaying their dead bodies on the street On whose right? On which, quote me any law, even in La République du Cameroon, that gives them that right. They are in the morally wrong side of history, and history will record them as such. Our people have every right to use arms, even to fight and kill Cameroon military people in our own self-defense. If somebody was to walk into your house with a gun and start killing your mate, move to your mother, your children, you have a gun, it will be a crime for you not to be able to not to use that gun to take out the life of a killer. Cameroon is a genocidal regime. Their military is a genocidal regime. They are under sanction. They have been called out by the international community, and our people have every right, under international law, to do whatever it takes to fight against colonialism and genocide. The international law prescribes that we have to use whatever means necessary to defend ourselves. So for an army that goes around killing our people, the only weapon we can use is the same, weapons of war, which is exactly what we are doing and what we are calling our population to continue to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this presentation, and I want to tell our people again that Ngolle Ngolle, Elvis Ngolle Ngolle, who is a former minister of forestry and wildlife for Cameroon, and was a former minister attached to the presidency of Paul Biya on special duties, who is a strong advocate for CPDM regime, and he continued to speak for Paul Biya on media outlets. The fact that he, an Ambazonian, will come now and say that we, for the past 6 years, have been fighting, we have this injustice, to try to identify himself now with the Ambazonian struggle, it's a change in tune. We haven't heard them speak in that terms. Ambazonia is always on the right side, and we are always ready to defend and make our case. The only reason we are fighting a war is because a war has been brought upon us. We are peace-loving people and will continue to be so. But we must fight and defend our right to life, to defend our territorial integrity, and to exert our sovereignty over our territory. It is the right thing and is an honorable thing to do, and our people should continue to resist Cameroon. Our movement and the various movements, the Ambazonian Governing Council is pushing for our people to continue to observe the Monday goes down, to resist Cameroon rule and send a message to Cameroon and to our own self and to the international community that we will not accept Cameroon rule again. We will continue to dismiss Cameroon and reject them, as we have been rejecting their colonial DO and SDO, and we have successfully kicked them out and stopped them from being in over 80% of our territory. Cameroon this year is planning and scheming to launch an electoral campaign in our territory. We will resist that, and every citizen in Ambazonia should know that it will be treasonous to participate in an election organized by a foreign regime. We must fight this thing. We must put hands together, arm our boys to make sure that Cameroon is booted out of Ambazonia, and we should end this colonialism, this era. Thank you all, and God bless you, and see you another time.